Well, hello, everybody. I think I might be already freezing. Okay, this is Nicole Liberty with Cowgirls and Spurs. And how are you? Happy Friday. Let me just make sure my Wi-Fi is off. Everything's off. We're good to go. Today, we are going to be doing the 2021 September Ribbons and Bling Deluxe Box Reveal. So I postponed this reveal a little bit because the fires up here were so bad, it interrupted everything. All our mail wasn't getting delivered. There's a lot of things that weren't happening up here. So I wanted to make sure that there was enough time for everybody to get the box before I revealed the box. So come on in and let me know you're here. Say hi. And then as soon as I finish revealing the deluxe box, we're going to apply our ribbons and bling to a project. It's really going to be a beautiful, elegant project. It's going to be a somewhat simple project, and I want to show you how I'm going to come up with what we're going to be doing. So let me know you're here. Oh my gosh, hello, Jennifer. Okay, so for those of you who don't know, I have a custom-made, handmade ribbons by me. I have a subscription box. There's 3 boxes actually. There's the ribbon box where you just get the ribbons, and they are all primitive ribbons that were made by me. And every month there's a themed box, and I try and coordinate the colors with the bling, hello Teresa, that I add in the ribbon and bling box. And so then the ribbon and bling box is the next step up, and you get my ribbons, 12 to 15 yards of my ribbons, and embellishments that go with it that are color coordinated to accentuate the ribbons. You can create all kinds of fun projects. And then the deluxe box is got all the bells and whistles. It also has the flowers that I grunge up in an antique, and I get them from a variety of sources, but they color coordinate to the bling and the ribbon box. So there's 3 different levels that you can get in on, and every month you get a beautiful collection of my handmade ribbons that are themed for that month's box. And so you can go to cowgirlsandspurs.com, and the subscription box, everything's open. You can read all about it. You can see the materials. It even has some examples of some of the boxes that I've done. And we just have a blast and create together and make some fun stuff. Hi, Janet. How are you? Thank you, darling. That's a sweet thing to say. So this is the Ribbon and Box Deluxe Ribbon and Bling box, okay? This is all the bells and whistles. Hello there. Yes, Louise, how are you? Okay, so I'm going to reveal this box. This is my box to craft with. Every month I make myself a box so that I can craft along with you guys. And I have a pretty fun and creative craft that we're going to do. So make sure you stay tuned, because after this, I'm wondering why you're all blurry, and it's because I can't see. So we're going to go ahead and show you what this looks like. So I have one of my girlfriends featured in this box, and I am so pleased to tell you all about her. So her bio and a little sample of what she does is made it into all the boxes this month. So let's just open and see what we got. So you'll recognize my silver boxes when you order from me, or when you join the subscription boxes. You can cancel anytime. It's just a way for us to kind of be in community together and help support my business and what I do, and me make some loving ribbons for you, because I put my heart and soul into all my boxes. And so this month I have my newsletter. And so every month I change my newsletter. I try to give you a recommendation of a book of the month, because I love to read and it's how I relax at night. And just little things, words of wisdom is in here. So I have my little words of wisdom box here. I just have some updated information. Let you guys know that all my new arrivals are being listed every week, so check back in my store. And then my favorite book of the month that I read, and I'm reading along with you. And so this month it's Redeeming Love by Francine Rivers. I just got myself a splinter. I'm sorry, I'm messing with my fingers with my yardstick. And so I just try to kind of love on you guys a little bit with my newsletters. And then I have all my call to action and my affiliate links, and everything that I'm kind of involved in is in here as well. And then this is the call to action. It tells you a little bit about the ribbon boxes, and it calls you to post your stuff on my VIP group on Facebook. Come along and craft with me and show me what you got. Hey cousin, how are you? And so those are my call to action literatures. And then this month I added in the bio on my girlfriend Orinda. I met her at one of our local rodeo craft fairs. They do kind of vendors and stuff, and she was there from out of town She has been, I've read her book. It's excellent. It's one of my favorites, Linda. I've read it a couple times. I just revisit it every time. So anyway, Arinda Fidel. This is my girlfriend. I absolutely adore her. She is a Christ follower. She makes the most amazing soaps for those that are hyperallergenic, that have issues with some fragrances and materials. This newsletter, her bio is in with a sample of her soaps. I would love it if you would go and bless her and say hello. All her information is in this here, and I will post this afterwards when we're finished with tonight's project. So when I connect with people, I'm going to try and feature them as much as possible, because we're really small businesses in community together. Plus, we're becoming God friends, right? We're going through life together. And so it's really important for me to share with you the people in my life. And she's a very special one. And so I'm super happy to share that with you. All right, let's get to the nitty gritty. Let's get to the nitty gritty. Okay, I love this box. And this box was modified for my mom. I made it for my mom. She requested these colors. And so this is what I came up with. Now, I really encourage you, if you want to come along and do these subscription boxes, every level's wonderful. But this deluxe box really gives you everything you need to come up with a really, really cool craft. Hey, Tabitha, how are you? Okay, so let's go through it. So the first thing I want you to know when you open your boxes is there's going to be two different kinds of bags in there. The first one is this little organza bag. And oftentimes I'll put my freebies in here, or just a couple extra things that I want to bless you with. And so this one has some of the ribbons that I added in just to kind of give a little bit more pop of color, that I had grunged and kind of pieced out. They're basic ribbons, but they just apply some texture. And so there was a gray one, and then there's a stripe one, and a solid burgundy to just give some pops. And then also in here was the sample of the Lilac, because this box is called the Lilac and Bloom collection. And there was a sample of Arinda's soap in here of the Lilac collection. It smells so good. Okay, and so that's what you'll find in your organza bag. And there's my business card and also a little item here that says I made everything with love. Okay, and then what you'll find is your bling bag. So when I come up with your bling, whether it's vintage or it's by my affiliate Totally Dazzled or it's by Make Your Own, whatever I come up with for that particular month's bling, you'll find it in your little burlap and lace bag. And so for this one, everyone got something a little different, because I tapped into my vintage collections and I pulled out some beautiful embellishments from all my vintage stuff. Where are you? Stuck in here. Come on, little guy. So I tried to give you a little bit of variety. So for instance, my bag has this little star, and it has a little round rhinestone. I got my nails done. And it has this little pearl. Okay, so those are the ones. 6 minutes in the video paused still. Really? Okay. Can you give me some hearts if you're still with me? Sometimes you need to pop back out and pop back in, clear your caches. I'm not really sure. I see a lot of hearts coming through, so I'm not sure it's paused. Hey, pretty lady. Hi, Patsy. Can you see me, Patsy? Or am I freezing? Okay, I'm seeing hearts, so I'm just going to keep on going. Okay? All the hearts are coming in. I love it. Go out and come back in, everybody. Sometimes Facebook just does some weird stuff. You're not paused for Massachusetts. Fine on my end. Okay, I'm going to keep going. Okay, so another thing that I add every month is I collect linen napkins, because I craft with them. I love them. And so every deluxe box is going to have their flowers wrapped in linens. Okay, and this month, this is the flower collection. So you have some lilacs, and you have some hydrangeas, and you have some blooms that I've just pieced together. You get 6 pieces of floral to add to your collection. And here is the striped ribbon I was telling you about. And then let me unwrap this linen, because today's project's not going to include the ribbon, but it is going to include all the beautiful flowers that we're going to use. But this is the linen that I added for you guys to craft at home. I'm obsessed with them. I love them. And so I just thought it was beautiful. And so that's in your box as well. But we're going to craft with these today. And so I'm going to set those aside. And then the ribbons are 12 to 15 yards of assorted ribbons. I upcycle linens, I upcycle fabrics, I upcycle laces, and I upcycle any material I can to come up with some ribbons. And so it ranges anywhere from 12 to 15 yards. I try really hard to pack it full of loveliness, but it depends on the materials I have. So that's why you'll get a variety in your ribbon. So we have this beautiful ribbon that I hand dyed, and it just creates some fun little texture to it. And then we have some of this chevron in a soft gray that I grunged up. And I leave some of them as thick as I can get them so you can rip them into smaller portions. So it actually gives you a lot more than the 12 to 15 yards, but we're crafters. So we have to be able to utilize what we have. And then I popped in some more gray with a darker chevron. I love those hearts, everyone. And then I added some purple gingham because you know what? Who doesn't love some gingham? It's just a baby buffalo check, right? And then we have, again, some beautiful textures that I brought in. And then my lace. Beautiful, beautiful lace. And so I'm going to unravel these while we're doing our craft. And that's the ribbon and bling box. And so, you know what? I'd love to have you along. So go to cowgirlsandspurs.com. Check out my subscription boxes. Read all about it. If it's for you, come on in and join the fun. Okay, so I'm going to set my ribbons aside, I'm going to set my bling aside, and I'm going to set my flowers aside so that we can get busy crafting. And I'm going to put my box over here and get it out of the way with all my advertisements and my samples because we're going to get a little messy. Okay, so the first thing I'm going to do is put on my apron because we're going to do a little embellishing. And then I'm going to go through all the materials that we're going to be using to help us with this project. Okay, you guys ready? Okay, don't forget to do this for me. Spread some goat love to everybody. All right. So I was in Joann's the other day because I'm obsessed with Joann's. I absolutely, thank you, Tabitha. Oh, you're still waiting, Suzanne? Okay, listen, so I said maybe you didn't hear it in the beginning, but I wanted to tell, oh, you're ready for me. Okay, but I also wanted to tell you the boxes may be delayed because the fires up here, one of the fires almost took out our entire town. The firefighters worked so hard to put out those fires. So some of the boxes are going to be delayed. I just have to tell you that. It's out of my control, but they are all out. Okay, so I was at Joann's the other day, and I'm checking out, right? And there's 80% off of all the wreaths, the spring wreaths. But it worked perfectly for me. So we're going to embellish a wreath because I'm showing you things that you can buy so that you don't have all the, you know, the easier steps. So I bought this for 80% off of $50. I think it was $10 I got this for. It already had all the purples in it. You can see all the purples, okay? So for those of you that don't want to do all the crazy wreaths to get to this point, you can buy a base just like this and build up from there. And that's what we're going to do today. So I can show you another way of creating a beautiful and elegant focal point for your front door or your wall, but you're using something that's already started for you, and really all you have to do is come in and pop it. But those of you that know me now, you know I have to do something to it. Oh, I just launched my flowers. You know I have to do something to it. So let me show you what I'm going to do to it. And then I'm going to bring in my accent piece at all. So I have my little rusting towel here that I'm going to put down. It's already got a ton of cinnamon on it and a ton of rusting, and I'm going to show you how I'm going to change this to become more of an antiqued embellishment. I've already done half of it, and so I'm going to go ahead and do the other half. You're going to be blown away at how simple this is. And so what it does is take the plasticness out of it, because when you get these pre-made ones, it looks plasticky. That's why a lot of people don't like them and they want to build their own. But I like it to look less plasticky, but still get the savings of having a pre-made item. Okay, break out your cinnamon, okay? It's gonna be so easy you don't even know what to do with yourself. I'm gonna go ahead and just sprinkle my wreath with a bunch of cinnamon where I haven't already gotten it. Now I'm doing it dry. There's nothing on my wreath. I'm just going in the section I haven't done yet. I'm going over the green leaves, and I'm going over the berries. Okay, and I'm just applying a little bit of cinnamon. Bring in your lacquer, any top coat, any polyurethane, as long as it's clear. And start popping it over your cinnamon. Making sure you cover it, making sure it's wet. You'll know it's wet because it turns a little darker. And you're also sealing your wreath from weather. Okay? So just pop it in a little bit until you see that it's all wet. Once it's wet, come in with your cinnamon again. Just a dusting. You don't want to turn the whole thing brown. You just want to vintage it out a little bit and make it a little grungy. Okay, so that's 2 layers of cinnamon, and so far we've sprayed once. Okay, so I'm just going to come in and do my little spraying to kind of seal that cinnamon I just sprayed in. And that is it. You can see already that it just toned it down a little bit. Okay? It's hard to tell in person or on the camera, but you can kind of see how it's a little grungy right here. And it just took out that antiquing shine. Okay? So that's step 1. Set it aside. It'll dry quick because we didn't saturate it. We just dusted it. Okay? Now this is an accent piece that I'm going to bring in. This is just a plastic pumpkin that I pulled from Walmart. I did the same thing on the bottom and I did the same thing on the top. And then I just wrapped the stem with a little bit of raffia. Okay? And so again, I just popped it with a little bit of my polyurethane, and then I just dusted it with my cinnamon and popped it a little bit more with my polyurethane. Right on the top like that. And all it did was create a little bit of antiquing so that when I place this pumpkin where we're going to put it, it just looks less plasticky and more authentic. Okay? So let's set that one aside to dry. Let me clean up. That's all we're going to be doing as far as the painting and the antiquing is concerned. Because our ribbons are already grunged. I washed my hair today and blew dry it, and woo! I've got some frizz. All right, cleaning up, getting rid of all my cinnamon so we can get crafty. All right, good to go. I think I'm going to repaint. I'm going to be redoing my backscape, my little scape here, because I've got so many more things to add. Okay, we're going to be bringing in our bow block. This is what I created to make beautiful bows and just be an extension of my fingers. I have arthritic fingers, and so my hands get really stiffened up. So sometimes you can see me doing this on the videos. It's because my fingers are stiffening up a little bit, and this just helps me so that I don't have to work so hard. I love the smell of the cinnamon too. It is offset by your polyurethane and your spray. So don't get too excited until afterwards. Because once it dries, you're fine. But when you're spraying, that's all you're smelling. Okay. So I've got 2 zip ties. Okay. And I'm going to go ahead and put 1 vertical and 1 horizontal. If you've been watching some of my tutorials, you see why I do that. Let's bring in some of our ribbons. I'm going to set my flowers aside. So I'm going to create kind of a big one here because the goal is we already have a wreath that has a lot of flowers on it. But Lois, you're never late. Never late. Just come in when you come in. You can always watch the replay. So I like to do things where I build up, especially if I'm going to be putting something as big as that pumpkin is on there. So this is going to be a bulky addition to our wreath, and it's okay because it's going to also create a surface of creating a shelf for our pumpkin to sit in. So I'm going to go ahead and unwrap my flowers from our box subscription. Okay, and so I have 6 flowers here in various colors of purple. Okay, so I'm just going to start pushing up my greens. Not pulling them off, I just pulled them off. Let me get that back on there. Don't push them up so much where you pull off your greens because you don't want that to be the case. Okay, and I'm going to rest them in my block so that I'm crossing over the threshold of where my zip tie is. So as long as you go on top of the zip tie crisscross and your zip tie that's going to hold it all together is crossed, your zip ties will hold the flowers in place instead of having to glue them in afterwards. Now you can do that as well, but one-stop shop. Why not? Okay, so I'm going to bring in a couple more. just kind of placing them inside my pegs, and I'm crisscrossing as well the threshold. And I'm going to add some lavender, using my pegs to hold my flowers in place. Okay, bring in another one right here. Let me put these, so if you can kind of see, I'm using all my fingers to hold each flower in place, and then it gives me the chance to kind of see where the positioning is going to be. Okay, I'm going to bring in some more hydrangea a little bit closer. Like that. Another one of my little popping pegs here. Okay, and I'm just going to kind of press them down. All right, so I'm going to take a little bit of raffia, because we're going a little elegant, primitive, and rustic. And I'm just going to kind of fold it over on itself a little bit so that I've got loops. You can see that I've got some loops and I've got some danglies. I'm just going to press that horizontally right over the top of my flowers. Okay, now let's add some texture. I've got some ribbons here. You don't need all the yardage in this. In fact, let me bring in my nasty little yardstick that just gave me a splinter. And I'm going to start unraveling my ribbons. And as I unravel them, I'll show them to you. So here's my lace. Isn't that beautiful? So I don't want too much of it. I just want maybe, I'm going to say, maybe about 24 inches of it. And then I'm just going to go ahead and cut it. Because I don't want the bow to be so crazy that it outshines my flowers and it outshines my pumpkin, but I do want to bring in some texture. Okay, so now what I'm going to do is I'm going to take my ends and cross them over like this, okay? And then I'm going to flatten it so that I have a cross section, but I have these loops. And I'm going to put the folds down and lay them horizontally right over the top of my flowers. So that I'm creating a layer. Can you see that so far? Just got mine. Absolutely love it. Kimberly, I love it. Okay, good. Okay, so that Kimberly just got her box. So you guys, yours is gumming. It's coming. I love it. Okay, and then I'm going to do the same thing with some of my other bows. Again, I don't need the full yard. Just eyeball it. You don't want this to be all the same. Overlap it. Turn it upside down and drop it horizontally right here. Okay? Please make sure that your overlaps have the zip tie where my finger thumbnail is, so that when you squeeze it, your overlaps are going to be within the zip tie. Does that make sense? Okay, and now I'm just going to continue to add some textures. Okay, so here is the ribbon. It's a 1/2 inch ribbon, super cute. It's got some purples and some greens in it. Okay, we're gonna do the same thing. Now I'm cutting them at various lengths by eyeballing them. And I'm just gonna add it in, okay? And then I'm going to add the dark gray, and I think that's all, maybe the purple and the ging. Oh no, I got to keep going because these are all so delightful. I can't skip any of these ribbons. I just can't do it. Okay, here's some of the chevron. Hello, hello! All right. Now, I want to create some dangles down the sides, so let's make some of the tassels for the ribbon. So I'm going to cut this one in half. And that's why I make them extra wide for you. So you have 2 prongs right here. I'm just going to take them and kind of dangle them down so that I'm creating some tails to my ribbons. And I'm going to add a little bit of my gingham, my purple grungy, just wrinkly and distressed ribbon. I'm going to add a long one and a short one. Okay, a long one and a short one, just like that. And I'm going to put them right over the top to create some tails. And then I'm going to bring it, oh, I love this ribbon. Oh my gosh, it is so beautiful. Look at that, see-through, and it's got all kinds of lovely rags to it. Okay. So I'm going to create an overlapping of this one as well because it is sheer. So overlap, fold it in half, and just place it right on top. Okay? So that's, I think, all I'm going to do right now. And then I'm going to go ahead and zip tie it. Now be very careful when you zip tie. You want to make sure it grabs and you want to hear the zip. Okay, hear that? Zip. Now I'm bringing it, so once I got the zip started, I lower it down here so I can start tightening it, so that I make sure that all my little flowers and florals are pushed in before I really tighten it. I'm starting to lift it up a little bit, squeezing it tighter and tighter as I go. And there's the beginning stages of your centerpiece. Okay, now let's get this out of the way. I'm going to put it down. And I'm going to spread it so that I can get my center embellishment in there. Go ahead and cut off. So the last one I did for you, I kept telling you guys, go ahead and make sure you cut up all your cable ties and get them out of there. And then I ran in the house. Hey, Melissa. Hi, Jackie. I ran in the house and I posted it and took a picture of it and I zoomed in and there's that stupid cable tie that just went there. I forgot to cut off my own cable tie. So then I had to stage it and take pictures of it again with the cable tie cut. And I just thought, I got to tell them what I did because, you know, we're all human. We all make mistakes. We all learn from our mistakes. And I, too, am one of those people that learns from my mistakes. Okay, so let's break open our bling bag and see what my options are for bling. Now, everybody's are going to be different because some people may get duplicates, but honestly, they're vintage materials. So I have this really pretty star, which has some pinks and stuff in it. It's very grungy, but I don't know if it'll go with this. And then I have this flat one that is just a bit of a rhinestone. And then I have this gold pearl, which is just really beautiful. So I'm going to kind of put them in here to see how they look, and we can do this together. Okay, so here's our bow. And then here's the pearl. Let me see if I can make it so that you can see. So it's just offering a little bit of sweetness. Okay. And then we have the rhinestones, which also offers a little bit of sweetness, but it offers a little bit more of a glam. And I don't know if I'm going after glam. And so then we have this cute little star, and I like it because it ties in this guy's here, and it's just a little pop. And everybody says the gold pearl. So let's put the gold pearl in there. Okay? And this is where your hot glue is going to come in. So just add a little bit of hot glue. Now this pearl has a little bit of an arc or a concave or a roundness to it, if you will. And so I'm going to need to hold it here for a little bit so that I can get it to set. And I want to press it in a little bit. And I'm going to pull my ribbons kind of up around it, so that the glue keeps the ribbons from being able to see the bottom. So I'm just picking up my ribbons and kind of pressing them up into my pearl and creating more purchase for my pearl to stay where it's gonna stay. Okay? And that also just keeps your ribbons in place a little bit. You can have your ribbons kind of dangle if you want to. You can tack them down with some glue. You can leave them however they land. And just kind of be patient with this process because you don't want to lose your embellishment before you have the chance to kind of make it look beautiful. Okay, so this is our bow embellishment. So we're going to go ahead and set it to the side, and I'm going to clean up, get all my ribbons out of the way, and we're going to bring in our wreath. You guys all with me, having fun? Thank you for the hearts. Thank you for coming along with me and doing positive creativity life with me. All right. All right, there we go. Do you recognize this? It's an old barber. And I dust off my desk with it. It works really well. All right, here we go. Let's bring in our pumpkin first. So I have these little pipe cleaners, I guess, and this one's got some pine on it, but I picked it because it was green, okay? So what I'm gonna do is fold it in half, so that I've got a nice good edge here, and I have 2 pieces here. And what I did with my pumpkin is I took my scissors, I'm holding it because I don't want to break off my stem already because I like the stem, and I just kind of made a little hole here so that I had an area to put some of this wire. It's like pine wire. You can use pipe cleaners. I just didn't have anything handy. Okay, and I'm going to add a little bit of glue into my pumpkin. I want quite a bit of glue. And I'm just going to shove the folded ends into that hole. Okay, just like that. Okay, and we need to set that aside for just a minute so it dries. I'm running out of set aside spaces. Stay put. Okay, let's bring in our wreath. Okay, so we're ready to do this. Now on this wreath, for originally $50, it better have a little hook holder, and it does. It has a nice little wire hook holder. So for this case, I know that's my top because that's how I'll hang it. And so I want to position this about right there. Now we're not going to be doing anything else to this other than what we've already done. So if you can't see the top, don't worry about it. I'm going to be focusing right here, and then I'll show you as I go. Okay, so I would never in a million years, for me personally, just knowing what I can do and what I can make at home, probably pay full price for this. But with a coupon and it coming down 80%, you got to go for it. You just got to go for it. It just cut out all that work I needed to do. So let's bring in our bow. Now, if you recall, we added 2 cable ties. So now we still have this cable tie to go ahead and attach our wreath to our project, or our bow to our project. And so I'm going to just center it right here and try and thread my cable tie into my wreath. And it's always kind of entertaining watching Nicole thread her cable ties. So I want it somewhat centered, so I'm just going to try and push my cable tie through until it comes out the other side. Now, I'm not left-handed, so let me switch hands. Be patient with this process too, because your cable tie is not a needle, and sometimes it bends and gets all weird and crazy. So just use patience and, you know, work through it like I do. It's kind of funny, laugh at it. It's like if you're a sewer and you're threading your needle and it just takes forever to get the needle to go through. I feel the same level of frustration with trying to shove my cable ties, especially when they have a mind of their own and they go into a different direction. Okay, I got it. I got it. Pulling all my ribbons out, my little tails here until it's nice and tight. And then I have to come back through and find it on the other side. This is not entertaining, I'm sorry. It keeps curling. Come on, baby. Come on, baby. Work with me here. Okay, I made it through. All right, so I'm just going to find my little end. I know it made it through. It's just got it right here. And then find your other zip tie, which is right here, and kind of work it through a little bit before you start tightening it. And then make sure you get that zip, okay? So I'm just going to zip it. Okay, now before I tell you anything else, I'm going to clip it. Get rid of that. All right, clip your zip tie, okay? Now fix all your little strands here. Position your bow the way you want it. Get your flowers in here. Okay. There's my center. And there's so far what we've got. Now I just need to center it and fix it. But I want it to be kind of off to the side a little bit. I personally want that off-centeredness because we're going to bring in more. Okay? We're going to bring in a little bit more. So here's my center, and here's my ribbon so far. Okay? So I wanted it off-center. So this will get tacked in just a minute. Now let's do the pumpkin. I'm going to bring it this way. I'm good, but I just don't know if I'm going to be able to bring in this pumpkin upside down and do what I need to do. All right, so here's our pumpkin. And here's our little wires on the bottom. So I need to bring this giant pumpkin in here, and I need it to set on my wreath, but if I just use hot glue, it's not going to stay. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to kind of lift up my flowers here and thread one of my my wires up and underneath what I just added in my embellishment until I can find it on the end and pull it. So I'm just going to pop it through like this and pull it. Okay? So I have it right here so that I can bend it down. Be very gentle when you're doing this. And see, now I have the other one, and all I have to do to secure this is tie my wires and flatten them. Okay, and I just pulled in the pumpkin. So now let's fix the pumpkin because we don't want him getting in front of our ribbon and bow. We kind of want him off to the side a little bit, like this. Okay, and I'm going to tack down some of my ribbons so they stay exactly where I want them. So I'm just going to add a little dollop underneath so I can start to position my bow the way I want it so that you can see my pearl and it stays open up. Okay, and this is where you come in and just start moving things around the way you want it, and again, securing it. Don't feel like you can't fix it or touch it up. I can tell you right now, the pros touch everything up. It's wherever you can cheat, you cheat. You just don't want it to look like you cheated, okay? So do that. Feel free to get in there and just be kind of sweet with it and hide it. Hide everything you can hide. Okay. Okay. So there's my little pumpkin. Here's my center. So it's off to the side like this. So far, this is what we got. Okay, but I want him to sit in a little bit. Okay, so I'm going to glue him. This is where my glue is going to come in, and I'm going to try and figure out where he's landing a little bit, and I'm going to enforce him with some glue, a lot of it. Let me get another glue stick, and I'm just going to kind of get in here and make sure that I can see exactly where he's touching so I can reinforce him and give him a little bit of help here. Offsetting and sitting back a little bit so he sits into my wreath a little bit and it'll lay somewhat flush on my display. Okay, we have one more piece to put in here that I want to show you, and then he's almost done. Another thing that you can do here is I have another one of these pipe cleaners that are just this. You can actually line it along here and glue it to attach to your wreath and your pumpkin to stabilize him a little bit. Stabilizing him is an excellent thing, especially if you get wind or you plan on putting him outside. Okay, so there we are. Now there's one little piece. One little piece that I want to attach to him. So I made this cute little tag, okay? And I just want to add a little bit more of a primitive nature to this. So I'm going to go ahead and add a little tag. It doesn't say anything other than pumpkins on it. It's just a tag that I rusted out like I showed you on one of my videos. And I added a little bit of burlap and on the back, just a little bit. And it just adds a little bit more of something to kind of focus on and look at. Brings in the primitive of it. I'm going to use myself as the wall or the door. Let me see where my center hook is. So it'll sit off to the side like this. And then there's your cute little wreath. Let me see if I can hold on to it so that it doesn't fall. And there you go. There's our bow. There's our pumpkin. And it just gave us a little pizzazz. So what I will do as soon as I'm going to finish fortifying this pumpkin a little bit. I'm going to come back in and I'm just going to start gluing some of the pieces of the wreath to it to secure it. So, and then I'm going to add a reinforcer in the back so that it just absolutely stays put. And this will be featured at the October 16th through 17th Fall Craft Fair, or a Christmas Craft Fair rather, in Twain Harte, where I am going to be a vendor. So I hope you love it. Get in there and get crafty. Simplify your life. Keep a positive, creative perspective. Love you all, and I'll see you all real soon. And if you decide to join the subscription boxes, I would love to have you. I'll see you all real soon. Bye, guys.